this is my first AM QSO. So it's good to be here. And I was struggling with what frequency you guys were on. It just seems like the band was pretty wide, so I couldn't quite pinpoint the frequency, but getting you both really good on 7.29. So that's working well. And so back a bit ago, Dan was having a QSO on this band on AM, and I tried to throw my call out, but he says it wasn't getting out. It wasn't transmitting, and I wasn't quite sure what was happening. And it's because this radio has a mode that's AM-D, AM-Delta, which is a digital mode, so that's the mode I was in. But I've had my ticket since 1982. I've kind of been in and out of the hobby a bit. And back in my novice and tech days, did a lot of 10 meters when 10 meters was open. And I got my general about 3 years ago, I think it was, 3-4 years ago, and I got my advance at a flea market up here last year. So really good to have the yeah, regarding the lighthouses, you're probably both aware, but a lighthouse special event, I think it's only once a year, and that was pretty cool. I participated in that by contacting some lighthouses up and down the east coast over here. There are numerous lighthouses, so that was pretty fun. I'd like to participate in actually being in the lighthouse. And there's a real popular one over here off the coast of Maine, York, Maine. It's called the Number Light. And it used to be manned. Up until a short time ago, and now it's automated, which I think most of them are. And Paul, looking at your QSZ page, a lot of gear. A lot of the old equipment, which is pretty cool. We got racks of equipment, and that looks pretty neat. I have a old heat kit gear here. I have an SD301 and 401 gear that I put up on the bench once in a while. When I started with the hobby, I had a hot water 101, which I gave to somebody, a teenager that I held with back a while ago. Okay, let's see. Over to you, Paul. WA3, BJB,
N1GFD. And the group WA3BJB. Nice transmission there, Ron. 7600's doing okay. If conditions were better, I'd make a couple of audio suggestions to make the most of its AM capability. Sounds like it's going into ALC limiting, which sometimes squeezes the dynamic range in an unpleasant way. But we'll save that for another day so that I can help lure you back again. Yeah, first time we put the lighthouse on the air was the very first time it was ever put on the air for International Lighthouse and Lightship Weekend. And the organizers of that worldwide event were kind of perturbed with us because we insisted on using only AM, which required everybody who wished to work this very first activation to switch over, and we're now to switch over to AM. But we thought it was part of the flag waving for what we intended to accomplish, which to increase the visibility of AM. And again, this was like 20 years ago. But after a subsequent visit a couple of years later, those are the only two times the lighthouse has actually been activated, ever. There's a domestic one by, what was his name, Widener. There's a domestic lighthouse event, and there's the International Lighthouse Weekend. And both of our trips out were in late August, early September, which is when they have those. So we had quite a following. The second one, we had some fairly unsettled weather, which unfortunately limited our quantity of contacts. But we did have a good number of people sit and visit with us for a while as they checked in and took advantage of early morning stable weather. So yeah, no, and Dan, to answer your point, no, my visit out to the lighthouse is just a float by. It takes quite a bit of paperwork and mobilization to muster a completely portable radio installation on AM for the lighthouse, including the generator and people who are brawny enough to lift all this stuff on board. If you look up Thomas Point Lighthouse, you'll see that it's a fairly challenging place to lift stuff up to. There's a lower landing platform and a hatch to a walk-around platform that leads to the door that leads to the lighthouse inhabited structure. So there's quite a bit of logistics to consider for mobilization, and as we all get a little bit older and a little bit slower, I don't know if we're going to go out again. I think I'd rather find a nice place on a riverbank somewhere and set up some tents and a generator that way than to try to get out to the lighthouse again. We've been there, we did that, had a great time, got the T-shirt. Here it comes back to you, Dan. We're going to get out of here real soon. Happy hour is about to begin. WA1QZX and N1GFD from WA3VJB. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, okay, Paul. WA3VJB. This is WA1QZX. Yeah, the riverbank's down. The riverbank sounds about my speed these days. Yeah, climbing rocks and lifting heavy stuff is no longer in the cards. But that's cool. That's really cool. Activating the lighthouse. I didn't realize you did that in the AM mode. And of course that would, what's the word? Help to recruit more people into the AM community. I always like to do. And so welcome Ron to the AM world. I hope you come back. We'll fix up your audio, but we don't want to scare you away too fast. Anyway, let me see. Yeah, around the Nibble Lighthouse. That is famous. See some of the pictures of that. I've been there, of course. Being up in this area. A beautiful lighthouse in York, Maine. And I don't know if I told Paul this, but Paul, I was on vacation the last couple of weeks. I just got back last week. Myself and my girlfriend Kathleen went up to Prince Edward Island, PEI, Canada. And so I got a lot of good stories about that. We traveled by car. Took a slow drive up the coast of Maine. Stopped at several nice towns, places like Camden, Maine, and stayed there. Did some sailing on. They have these schooners up there that take people out for rides, and we took advantage of that. So we're sailing on these big three-masted schooners. And eventually we got up to Prince Edward Island, where we met up with our Irish clan there.